In this episode, Dell drops and expands Ubuntu offerings, Android market share jumps, and the GPL wins big in court. QuickSurf Internet Media presents Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio C1 at QuickSurf Internet Media. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Visit them over at techpodcast.com for other technology-related shows. Let's go ahead and get into Season 11, Episode 2. I've worked on the audio quite a bit, so it should be quite a bit better from the last episode. I'm still out of my Mackie gear, and I'm still using the original gear, but I've done some significant tweaks to it, so it should look quite a bit better. And with that, let's go ahead and talk about our stories. At lilyputing.com, there's a story here entitled MeeGo Linux for in-vehicle computers now available. Now, we've reported quite a bit on MeeGo in the past, and it's apparently now available for in-car entertainment computers. Each version is a little different depending on the manufacturer. And this week, the folks behind MeeGo launched the first public version of MeeGo IVI for in-vehicle infotainment systems. It's available for download right now, and thanks to the magic of YouTube searching, you can now check out a demo video after the break. So for those of you who are on the other networks such as Blip.tv or YouTube or Vimeo or any of the other networks that we publish to, Roku, Boxy, etc., visit us on the web at linux.quicksurf.com. Everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. So if you want to check out one of the videos, just go to linux.quicksurf.com and check out all the articles linked up in the show notes. Let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for this episode, GoToAssist Express. There are a variety of tools that let you remotely support a client, colleague, or friend, but the one I trust and use and rely on is GoToAssist Express. It's the best remote support tool designed for small to medium-sized businesses, and it's brought to you by Citrix. Why GoToAssist Express? Well, it has exceptional performance, it's very easy to use, and it is secure. IT professionals, really anybody who doesn't have time to squander with a tool that's slow or unreliable, can use GoToAssist Express. With GoToAssist Express, you have no IT maintenance or updating required. It's so fast you'll be on a client's computer troubleshooting in seconds, and it's consistently reliable. My audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. I repeat, my audience can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/techpodcast. From the PC World Business Center, there's a story, 11 free Linux apps your business needs now. That's right. 11 free applications for Linux that you can use in your business right now. Number one, office productivity is OpenOffice. I use that, and I'm not even in a business. For accounting, GNU Cache. Desktop publishing, Scribus. Number 4, email, Zimbra. Number 5, web page editing, Composer. Number 6, graphics, GIMP. Number 7, backup, Amanda. Number 8, HR management is Orange HRM. Number 9, email campaigns, PHP List. Everybody knows PHP List. Number 10, project management, OpenProj. And number 11, antivirus, ClamAV. Now, the author of this article, Catherine Noyes, explains each of the choices underneath in paragraph format. So by all means, go to the website. It's linked up in our show notes, and read the article. And it's a very nice read. From the Register, the LiMo rumoured set to recall to the Linux mothership. The operator-backed LiMo Foundation is on the verge of folding into the Linux Foundation, according to Taiwanese manufacturers working with the standard. DigiTimes reports that Vodafone has given up on the platform following poor sales of its LiMo-based Vodafone 360 handsets, and that the remaining partners are having a hard time being optimistic about the future in the face of Android's overwhelming presence. And I would be very concerned with this too. We're going to talk about Android's presence here in the first half of 2010 in a couple minutes, but this is bad. This is bad. I mean, I had high hopes for LiMo, and it's looking like it's kind of collapsing on itself because Android's been sucking all the wind out of LiMo's sales. So we'll see. Only time will tell at this point, but we'll be keeping an eye on it and report any changes as they happen. From mobileburn.com, Android market share jumps in the first half of 2010. However, the Apple iPhone is still the most desired smartphone out there, which kind of makes sense. Today, Nielsen released a new report on the U.S. smartphone market during the first half of 2010. The report found that Android had the most increase in market share for those buying smartphones during the past 6 months, with a jump from a 17% share to a 27% share of the market. Apple's iOS 4 dropped from a 27% share to a 23% share. So for the time being, Android-based devices actually have more market share than Apple's iPhone. So kind of interesting statistics. BlackBerry holds the most overall market share with a 35% grip, followed by Apple iOS is 28%. Microsoft Windows Mobile 15%, Android 13%, Palm WebOS 3%, and Linux 2%. So kind of interesting. Obviously time will tell how Android does in the long run. They've been having some struggles keeping everybody on the same version. I mean, I know multiple friends that have Android-based phones, and they're on an old version of Android with no path to upgrade, and the manufacturer of the phone has kind of left them marooned on this old, buggy Android version. So, it'd be nice if they followed the path where they release some really great hardware and upgrade the software over time, very much following the model of Apple and the iPhone OS, or now as it's called, the iOS. So we'll see how things go, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the long run. From techradar.com, 8 of the best web browsers for Linux. This is basically a software comparison list, just like lots of other 8 of the best this or that or whatever. So check it out. I'm not going to go through all of the selections that make up the 8 best software browsers for Linux. All of us know, obviously, that Firefox is at the moment #1, but Firefox is not the only option out there for Linux if you want a web browser. So check it out. It's a pretty interesting read. It's 4 pages, so not bad. From techeye.com, actually I have a pair of stories. From techeye.com, there's a story here, "Get this damned Ubuntu out of Dell's internets." And basically, this story is a reactionary drama of how Dell has dropped Ubuntu from their online store and, all this other good stuff. And I have a countering story from Computer World. Stephen J. Von Nichols in his CyberCynic blog, which, by the way, he's a very reliable source of information, writes, 3 days later, after this initial story broke, Dell expands Ubuntu Linux desktop offerings. Now, he says the latest panic in desktop Linux land was that Dell would no longer be selling Ubuntu pre-installed on laptops and netbooks. Alas, for those who love drama, it wasn't true. In fact, Dell is expanding its Ubuntu desktop offerings. Jerry Carr, the marketing manager for Canonical, the company behind Ubuntu, told me that the stories that Dell will no longer be offering Ubuntu pre-installed on its hardware were not true. One of the other, a Dell PR manager, also said that they just added Ubuntu Desktop today, July 27th, while the original plan a few months ago was to transition to the current generation Inspiron Desktop. We changed direction. The Linux team decided there might be more applications, better appreciation for a more powerful option. So we just released the Studio XPS 7100 desktop and Ubuntu Desktop 10.04 with the desktop 10.04 installed. So for those of you who think Dell has abandoned Ubuntu, you can stop your and just get on with life. Dell basically just changed direction and said, it might be better to offer it with more powerful hardware. Having Ubuntu on a notebook is nice and all that, but there are still a lot of people that have desktop systems, so we'll see. I mean, obviously, again, this is going to be an overtime thing to really see the commitment level that Dell is looking at. If everybody would recall, Dell also at one point offered Red Hat and stopped offering that. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. From the Register, we have a story here. GPL scores historic court compliance victory. This is kind of neat. Open sources have scored a major victory in a U.S. court over violation of the GPL. The Software Freedom Conservancy has secured $90,000 in damages for willful infringement of GPL version 2, plus nearly $50,000 in costs from Westinghouse Dell Digital Electronics over its illegal distribution of the Unix utility BusyBox. The company has been ordered to stop shipping products loaded with BusyBox. It's the first time a U.S. court has awarded an injunction ordering a GPL violator to permanently stop distribution of out-of-compliance GPL software. So, very interesting. Read the full story. It's full of all kinds of nuggets and cool stuff. But in a nutshell, a major company had, basically sucked up a bunch of GPL software, repackaged it, and made some modifications and sold it as a proprietary thing, when that's not what you're allowed to do under GPL licensing terms. So, at least for GPL code. So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. This is the first. Obviously, it's probably not going to be the last, but we'll see. That'll pretty much do it for this edition of Linux News Log. As always, I thank you for watching and listening. For those of you who watch and listen, for those of you who are on the secondary distribution points for the video at blip.tv, YouTube, and Vimeo, and there's a few others I distribute too. If you want the show notes, visit us on the web at linux.quicksurf.com. You can follow me at twitter.com/Adrian_bacon. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. I'll see you then. Bye.